Hello everybody. After launching and configuring Jenkins in the last part, today we will continue our lab by deploying other components, RDS and Sonarqube. Actually, RDS and Sonarqube, both of them are integrated because Sonarqube using database to store its metadata. So, and among the database that use the engines, there is Postgres. And for prod, you should not to deploy the database in the same instance where there is the Sonarqube, because if the instance crashed, you will lose all your data. So it's better to store your data outside of the instance that you have Sonarqube on it, and it's better to use the serverless application or serverless service that offered by AWS called RDS that will manage and host your engine there. It's called RDS. So we will use Postgres as an engine to integrate it with our Sonarqube. So first thing we'll do is go and create a module to deploy RDS instance. So for that, I will just go to the module and then create here a folder called RDS, and then we will configure its Terraform code to deploy it. So as you know, I already have the code for that, so I just will walk you through the code to explain you anything that this file has. So we'll start with the main.tf file. So I have this block that is responsible for creating an RDS instance. As long as it is just a lab, I am using the smallest instance type to not be in charge of it, or I will not be charged too much money if I use the T3 micro. It's a very small instance just for testing. So I start by how much storage I want to allocate for my instance. So small storage like 10 gigabyte, and then I start with DB name. The DB name should be Sonarqube, because this DB name will be configured on the side of the Sonarqube. I will show you that in this template file, that the database, this name of the database should be the same as the one will be mentioned here. So it should be Sonarqube, and then I give an instance name or identifier called RDS Sonarqube. For the engine, I am choosing this. I'm choosing Postgres. Also for version, I choose this version 13, because the other ones, like above 13, it will give you like its parameter group will force you to use SSL. So I need extra configuration. So for that, I'm just using this engine version because its parameter group does not force SSL. Also, instance class, I'm using this small instance, and then the username and password I provide them as variable when you're from the main component or from the main file. And then I create security group that I will allow the traffic to come in on this port only from within the VPC CIDR. And then also I give the subnet group name is responsible to tell RDS on which subnet you want to spin up your ENIs. So here I just put subnet IDs, and then I will provide it through the variables when I will launch this instance. So I hope that is clear for you. If you don't understand something, please put it me on the comments, so I will make sure to explain it to you. You are very welcome. Okay, so this is the RDS one. Now let's go to the template file we are using, or the template file containing our bash script that will be executed once the instance will boot it for the first time. So I will go through what the Sonarqube is just commands lines that install Java, then install, do some configuration of VM. This one is required by Elasticsearch, so we need to configure it. And then we install the Sonarqube, and here I am doing the Sonarqube configuration, and this file resides under the conf/sonar.properties. So this file I will provide, for example, here I want my Sonarqube to be reachable from internet on this port, and then for the JDBC I am using PostgreSQL, and then for the username and password I provide it as variable, and they will inject it during the creation or towards the template file. I will show you that. So this is the database name, username, and database password, and DB host, and this is credentials of the RDS instance that will be created here. So let me go to the main file, right, and they will show you how I call it. So here I provide the variables required by this module, so I can be able to deploy my RDS instance. And for username and password, I don't put it as a plain text, but instead of that, I have stored them in secret manager. If we go to this secret manager, I have already created secret manager. This secret manager have two values, the username and the password. So I provide the credentials here, and then I use data to access to them and retrieve them instead of putting them as a plain text. So this is the best practice of how you can inject some sensitive data from the secret manager to your resources. Then I provide the subnet, and you subnet, I just reference the output of the VPC. If you back to the part 1 of this lab, you will see I have explained this thing before. Like in the modules, I have provided outputs, and in output I provide to output me in this module the private subnet and public subnet. As long as it's an RDS, I want to put it inside the private subnet. And then I create another block with the same module as you see, but with different configuration. So what I will do now, I will just go and copy this one, and I paste it here. Please make sure to stay till the end of the video, because I will deploy the Sonarqube with the RDS, and they will show you how you can integrate the Jenkins server with your Sonarqube, and they will give you a demo of how to do a scanning of a ReactApp using Jenkins and Sonarqube throughout building a pipeline, and do the scanning during the build of your application. So please stay tuned or stay with me until the end of the video to not lose any step. So I paste it here, so everything is good, and I will back here and then copy this block. I hope that I don't miss anything, and here in locals we make sure that I have the Sonarqube local variable. I will store it on main. I will try to do Terraform plan to see if everything is configured well. So I will do Terraform init first, and then Terraform plan. So here I still missed something here. Is in data I should to do the template of the Sonarqube, the template that contain the bash script of of the template, and also to declare this two block enable us to read secret from the AWS. So we create the secret manually on the AWS, right? Provide the values there, and then from the Terraform we can reach to them from the Terraform in this way. So we'll copy this block and then I paste it here. So instead of typing everything manually, this thing will take time. So I don't want to waste your time, but just I want to provide you with just I'm straightforward how things are done without like showing you how to do type it or something like that. This will just take time without any benefit. So what matters me the most is you understand the procedure, how you can do this on your own environment. So I have here variables, I have secret name as variable as well, and they will provide its value. So the value of secret name is this one, so this name is the one I have it here, so make sure to put the right value, otherwise you will face an issue. I will do a Terraform again plan, and this time it should work fine. It's still complaining that no module Postgres. Yeah, I missed something here. Just let me copy everything to make sure that I missed nothing. And the Terraform plan. And then let me do and with the changes. Copy this block and then paste it here. Should you initialize again? So every time you add a block, new block of modules, you need to initialize that. Perfect. Now let's do Terraform plan. So our Jenkins server will be replaced because we changed some configuration, and then we'll do Terraform apply. So this will take a while because RDS instance provisioning take a while to be ready, so we will pause the video until everything is done. So deployment, everything is deployed, the RDS and then the Sonarqube and Jenkins. So now let's go to the console to see the resource that's being deployed by the Terraform. So here I have my RDS, and then if I go to instances, I will find the Sonarqube server. So all what I need to do is to grab the public IP address and then put the port 9000 and hit enter. You see, so we see how how much it's easy, like, or it's good to use everything in using infrastructure as code and do all the configuration in Terraform and so on, instead of going manually and then SSH to the instance and start to install everything manually step by step. So you see how much time you save when you do all the configuration once, and you can deploy all of these things across different instances, across different account or region or whatever you want. So let me log in to my, so first login credentials is admin to my Sonarqube, and then Sonar will ask you to change your password. Update. Yeah, so this is my Sonarqube console. So now I will walk you through how to do the integration between the Jenkins server and Sonarqube server to do scanning for whatever code you have. I will end this lab with a demo of scanning a ReactJS app. So please stay with me until the end of this video. So first thing I will do is to go to my Jenkins server, and they will start to do some configuration. And first thing I will do is go and install the Sonarqube scanner plugin. So this item enable us to do like linking or do a connection between the Jenkins server and the Sonarqube server. So I would search for Sonarqube, sorry, available plugins, do scanner. So Sonarqube scanner, the first option, I will install it. I will scroll down till the bottom, and they will click on this check button to restart the server once the installation of the plugins is done. And in meantime, I will go to the Sonarqube, and then I will create a token that I will use it to integrate my Sonarqube and Jenkins. I will go to my account, to security, and they will scroll down here and use user token. I will call it Sonar, or I call it Jenkins. I will generate, and they will copy it, and they will back. Now it asks me to log in again, so I will log in. Check this one. Yep. Now I can go to again to Jenkins to do the configuration or the integration between the Jenkins and Sonarqube. We'll go to manage Jenkins. We'll scroll down, and they will go to system. I will scroll down to the bottom. I will see there is Sonarqube servers. I will do environment variable. So I will because here I can do as much Sonarqube server I want, and each server I can call it with a name. And in the pipeline of the Jenkins file, I can call a specific Sonarqube server that I will use it. So I will give it a name, Sonarqube server. I will provide the host name with the port, and then here for this one I need to store first the token in secret, then I will call it from here. So I will do none. So first thing I will do is to go to dashboard, manage Jenkins. I will go to credentials. They will click on global. I will add new credentials. I will store it as secret text. They will call it Sonarqube, and they will create it. I will back here. I need to refresh the page, so the change will reflect here. I will scroll down again. I'm going too fast. Okay, it's here. I will add the server. I will give it Sonarqube Server. Please remember this name, we will use it later. As I mentioned in the Jenkins file pipeline, I will paste it here. I will scroll down and I choose Sonarqube and apply, and they will save it. Another thing is to manage the go to manage Jenkins and go to tools, and we need to install the Sonarqube scanner. So we'll call it Sonarqube. Let me show you what I will call it, because here I am calling it in this name, and this name, it is the server I just created. I call it with this name, and the scanner I will use this name, because you can have as much scanner as you want. So I will use this scanner name, and they will go and choose version 4.0. I will apply and save. As long as I am scanning a ReactJS app, means I am scanning JS application, so I need to have the Node.js installed on my Jenkins server as well. So before going there, I will go to manage Jenkins, and they will go to plugins and search for Node.js. We'll choose this one, and then you will install it. Either you can restart the server once the installation is done, or you just back to the Jenkins server and go to tools. You will scroll down, and here you will find Node.js installation, and here you will call it Node, and they will show you that you need to remember this name as well, and they will show where I call it. If we back to Jenkins file, I have call it here. Whatever name you give here, you need to put it here. So I'm saying to Jenkins pipeline which node I want to use it to scan my ReactJS app. We'll scroll down, and they will go and choose version, for example, version 16. You will apply, and they will do save. Perfect. So next step now is to go to Sonarqube and do creating a project. So we'll go and create manually, and they will call it ReactApp. And remember that this name should be the same name as, because to have to scan in this application, first thing, if you are running in pipeline, in the pipeline of Jenkins, you need to have Jenkins file. And another thing is required by Sonar Scanner is to have this file called with this name. And here you just need to provide the project name on Sonarqube, and then here if you have subfolders and you want to scan specific folder, instead of scanning the entire project from the root folder, you just need and come and specify it here. As long as I am going to scan the entire project, because my ReactJS is residing like all of this root folder, it's ReactApp. If I have subfolder that have my ReactApp, let's say call it, for example, whatever name I give it, where I put my ReactApp, I need to come here and specify it. I hope this is clear for you. So I call it ReactApp, so it's the same name I give here, it's a ReactApp. And they will do setup, and they will choose Jenkins. I will go with GitHub, and then finish this tutorial. Perfect. So now what I should do, I have already created my React app here. So what I should do now is just to create a GitHub repo for this app, push it there, and do the integration between Jenkins and GitHub and do the scanning for the app. So for that, I will go to my GitHub repo. Create a new repo. And I will call it ReactApp Sonarqube. Scroll down and then create it. I will choose SSH because I already copied my public keys here. That's why I prefer to use SSH. And I like to use the git bash instead. I will do git init first, git remote add origin, and I will paste it here. I will do git add everything, git commit React app, and I will do git push. So if I back here, I need to see it, so everything is pushed here, and you can see the Jenkins file and Sonarqube project properties. Both of these files are present. So I need to go now to my Jenkins server and do the integration or create a pipeline. So go and do item Jenkins and Sonar, and they will use the pipeline. I need to scroll down here, go to the definition of the pipeline. I will use it from source code management. We will use git, and I need to back here and copy the name of my git repo to the Jenkins server. If I am using a private repo, I need to create credentials of username and password, and the password should be like the token, not your password, because GitHub is required to have generated token to use it as a password. And you need to go to the Jenkins here, to the Jenkins dashboard. You go to manage Jenkins, you scroll down and you go to credentials, you click on global, and then you add credentials, you use user and password, you put your name here, and here your token you generated on the GitHub. I hope that's clear for you. I will scroll down here, the branch name, I will pull the code from it is master. If you have main, you need to put it here instead. I will scroll down, and here you need to specify the path where the Jenkins file resides, as long as it is in the root folder of the repo. So I don't need to specify the path. By default, it's the Jenkins server, and they will do apply, and then I will do save. As long as I haven't specify which trigger that gonna trigger the pipeline, you can either use the GitHub webhooks, or you can, for example, do a trigger cron, for example, every 2 minutes or whatever time that you see it is sweet for you. You can specify it, so in that specific time it will be repeated for example 2 minutes or whatever time you like. I will go and do it manually. I will trigger the pipeline manually. We'll scroll down and you will see if there is any error happens, you will see it in the here. So I will click on the pipeline here. They can see the output of that. So I see the pipeline failed. If I go here and I expand this, it said Okay, so here in the Jenkins file I am putting Sonarqube Server, and let me make sure that it's the same name. I am putting it here, so I need to scroll down. Is Sonarqube Server. Let me make sure that they need to go to managing. So it's good to have errors, so you can know how to debug it and figure out what the reason or what is the issue that is responsible for that bug. So we have Sonar Scanner 4.0. So it's problem of authentication. I need to go here and they will go to my accounts, security. I will revoke this one and they will use another one called Jenkins. And they will generate it. I will copy it. I will back to manage Jenkins server and then go to credentials, global, update it. I will save it again. I think that is the main issue why we have this issue, the main problem that caused this issue. So let's run it again. And this time should pass. So if I scroll down and expand this one, you can see this time is working. We'll just click here and then you need to go to console output. Yeah, you see it succeeded. It was a problem that I didn't copy the right token of Sonar. So if I back here, you see now it's reflected here. There, it's passed. So here, and you can see here, you can go towards all your analytics about your code, because it's just simple ReactApp. There is no bugs, there is no much vulnerabilities. But if you have big code, it will show you more vulnerabilities. So I hope it was like you find this lab very useful for you, and I hope you got as much information as you can. And please, if you have anything that is not clear, please specify that to me on the chat so I can do a specific video for that to explain everything for you. And as usual, before going or before finishing this video, I want you to back to your like where you have created or deployed your Terraform and destroy everything to avoid charge by AWS. And in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please leave me good feedback and comment and share it with anyone that you see him or her interested in learning DevOps. And I am working on creating new labs, and I am working hard to give you a really good information and good labs that will enable you to harden your knowledge. Thank you for watching and see you in next video.